Hello, my name is Christina Huynh, and I will be talking about the virtual value chain. I am a part of Team Cupcake, and here are my teammates, Aslam, Nida Javed, and myself. So let's get started. First, I would like to introduce the key points. We're going to be talking about the history of businesses, the original value chain concept, and then go into the creation of the virtual value chain, which will consist of physical and virtual world, creating value, adding value, implications of management, and the 5 principles. So what is the virtual value chain? It is basically a business model for the information services industry developed by Jeffrey Rayport and John Sofokla. And this model examines and transitions businesses to the information-based business model. Over the years, some businesses have controlled almost all factors of production and distribution, whereas others have outsourced almost everything. An example would be the Ford Motor Company in the USA. Ford had their own foundries, railroad, forestry, and electricity generating plants. They developed a structure over many decades of steady growth. But even prior to the advent of e-business, this kind of structure was being broken down as a monolithic type of organization, like this organization that is less likely able to respond to changing market requirements. In other words, Ford was an extreme case of internal control of all factors of production and distribution, whereas other businesses had a long maintained a mixture of some in-house capabilities together with services sourced from other businesses. To understand the network of processes and services, I will introduce the value chain concept. This model was created by Michael Porter. He suggested that organizations should reevaluate their value chain and concentrate on the operations that they can do best. Other processes should then be outsourced to specialists. He distinguishes between 2 activities, primary activities and support activities. Primary activities are directly concerned with the creation or delivery of a product or service. Support activities, there are 4 main areas: procurement, technology development, human resource management, and infrastructure. This chain consists of a series of activities that create and build value. They accumulate in the total value, which expresses the way a business differentiates itself through configuration of its value chain. And here's a closer look of the diagram. In the support activities, you can tell there is organization, human resources, technology, and purchasing. But in the primary activities, there's inbound logistics, operations, outbound logistics, marketing and sales, and service. The series of this model is a value-adding activities which connects a company's supply side to its demand side. This process can be mapped via a flow diagram and then re-engineered to increase value or reduce costs. This model is a fundamental concept of a business strategy. By analyzing stages of a value chain, managers can redesign internal and external processes to improve efficiency and effectiveness. The only thing about this model is that it does not treat information as a supporting element. Managers often use information that they capture on inventory, production, or logistics to help monitor or control those processes, but they rarely use information itself to create new value for the customer. And so this is where the virtual value chain is created. Information itself can be a source of value. To create value in information, managers must look into the marketplace. Although the value chain of the place can mirror that of the space, the value-adding processes that companies must employ to turn raw information into new market space services and products are unique to the information world. In other words, the value-adding steps are virtual and that they are performed through and with information. A good example of a business that uses information as a source of value is the Federal Express Corporation. The FedEx, they allow consumers to track packages through the company's World Wide Web on the internet by entering their air bill number. After the package has been delivered, they can identify the name of the person who signed for it. And although FedEx provides the service for free, it has created added value for the customer, which also increases loyalty. So the idea of the value chain is the virtual value chain is to look for ways to create value using information which include anything you can digitize. And in order for business to be successful in the virtual value chain, they have to compete in two worlds, a physical world and a virtual world. A physical world is a world of resources that managers can see and touch, also called a marketplace. The virtual world is a world made of information, also called a market space. Here are some examples that could help you distinguish between the two. Answering machines. Answering machines stores phone messages, but they are sold in the physical world. And whenever you purchase electronic answering services from the local phone companies, they are utilizing the market space, a virtual realm where products and services exist as a digital information. It can be delivered through information-based channels. Another example could be banks. Banks provide services to customers at branch offices in the marketplace as well as electronic online services to customers in the market space. On airlines. Airlines sell passenger tickets in both marketplace, in person, and market space online. Fast food outlets. Fast food outlets orders over the counter at restaurants, marketplace, and increasingly through touchscreen connected to the computers, market space. So, how does it work? Creating value in any stage of a virtual value chain involves a sequence of 5 activities: gathering, organizing, selecting, synthesizing, distributing of information. Gathering data is the first stage in the virtual value chain. This involves sifting through and extracting the torrent of digital information that may be valued to a business enterprise. Organizing is the second step. This infrastructure is used to organize and gather text, audio, video, graphics, and other types of data formats that is used within the virtual value chain. This includes the format and the platform used to store the repository of data in a way that makes it easy to retrieve and analyze. Selecting. At this third stage, managers draw on the flow of information in their virtual value chain to deliver value to customers in new ways. A company can develop new customer relationships by selecting data it has gathered and organized, effectively adding value to operations. Synthesizing. At this stage, data is placed into a context that is for value for targeted users. Distributing information. The transmission or broadcast of synthesized information to its target user is at the last step. Its distribution stage is easily contrasted with distribution with the physical value chain, which requires physical logistics and distribution systems for product movement. Now on to the stages of value adding. There are 3 stages of adding value: visibility, mirror capability, new customer relationships. Visibility. Companies acquire an ability to see physical operations more effectively through information. Mirror capability. Companies substitute virtual activities for physical ones, begin to create a virtual value chain that parallels but improves the physical value chain. New customer relationships. Managers draw on the flow of information in their virtual value chain to deliver value to customers in new ways. Once companies become adept at managing their value-adding activities across the parallel value chains, they are ready to develop these new relationships. Implications for management. Managers must consciously focus on the principles that guide value creation and extraction across the 2 value chains separately and in combination. The physical value chain is composed of linear sequence of activities with defined points of input and output. The virtual value is non-linear matrix of potential inputs and outputs that can be accessed and distributed through a wide variety of channels. Managers must understand the differences between value creation and extraction in the marketplace and in the market space. They must manage both effectively and in concert. A company's executives must embrace an updated set of guiding principles because in the market space, many of the business axioms that have guided managers no longer apply. The 5 principles. The law of digital assets, new economies of scale, new economies of scope, transaction cost compression, rebalancing supply and demand. The law of digital assets. Digital assets, unlike physical ones, are not used up in their consumption. New economies of scale redefines economies of scale, allowing small companies to achieve low unit costs for products and services. new economies of scope. Businesses can redefine economies of scope by drawing a single set of digital assets to provide the value across markets. Transaction cost compression. Transaction costs along the virtual value chain are lower than their counterparts on the physical value chain, and they continue to decline sharply. Rebalancing supply and demand. The world of businesses increased demands as a shift from supply side to demand side thinking. To conclude this presentation, senior managers must evaluate their businesses, its strengths, its weaknesses, its opportunities and risks, along the value chains of both worlds, virtual and physical worlds.